Hey friends, on today's podcast, we are talking about the Dow Great Lakes Bay Invitational. Tournament director Wendy Traschen stops by to talk us through the incredible event itself and all of the other things surrounding this year's tournament. As I said, my guest today, tournament director Wendy Traschen. Wendy, it is an absolute pleasure to see you again. Welcome back to the podcast. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
It is my pleasure. So one of my favorite things to talk, first, as you know, I love this event. And my favorite thing to start when we're talking about this year's Dow Great Lakes Bay Invitational is the economic impact of this single event if we go back to 2021. So I would love to start there because these numbers are incredible.
We are so fortunate, and that is one of the best things about this tournament. And a lot of people say, why? And I'm like, when you can really talk about the fact that last year, over $12 million of economic import to all four counties. So it's not just Midland, it's all four of our, Great Lakes Bay regional counties. In the week of the tournament alone, over $2 million was spent with 222 businesses between all four counties. That's pretty impressive.
You and I talk but once a year, but if I were to talk to you on a more often basis, I would ask, how is it not exciting to do this event when that is the outcome year in and year out, right?
No, it's pretty special. And that just shows you from a strategic standpoint why this tournament is so great for our region.
And so let's talk about the tournament itself. Everything starts on July 10th. Kind of give people the lay of the land of the golf itself. And then you and I were joking before we hit record, the other 1.5 million events that are going on around this event. But let's talk specifically with the Invitational itself.
Yep. So it's the 10th through the 16th of July. We raised the purse to $2.5 million this year, which is one of the highest paid tournaments outside the majors of the LPGA. Just as a reminder, it's unique in the fact that they play as teams. So 72 teams, 144 players. The location is the Midland Country Club, and it's live on Golf Channel Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and then the final round on CBS on Saturday.
Now, before we get into the other events that you guys have going on, because like I said, there's a lot of them, I'm wondering if you could maybe give people a sense of the walk up to this event. What is the area like? Give me the energy level of the area as we're walking up to this event. Like, we get the 4th of July weekend, then you take a half a breath, and then this thing is right there. So, like, what is the community like as we're getting close to July 10th?
Well, as you can imagine, we have a lot of guests in the community, and what we've been pleased the fact that we've had to also get those guests to stay over in Bay City, Saginaw, Mount Pleasant, because there's only so many hotels, and this year especially, we started seeing that in February, and it continues to get momentum with people coming to the region because they're so excited about the tournament.
That is incredible. So let's get into all of the other things that are going around the tournament itself. We'll start with the qualifier and kind of work through the other list of things.
Yes. So next week we have our qualifier at the Fortress. It kicks off on Monday night the 6th, where Suzanne will host. We have about 30 players right now. Remember, they're amateurs, and we'll have a little meet and greet with all of those players. She's going to do a little clinic, which when you think about these amateurs, to have Suzanne be able to work with them, we're very pumped about that. And then they will have 2 rounds of golf at the Fortress on Tuesday and Wednesday. That final, the winner of that will be able to play in the Great Lakes Bay Invitational. They get to pick a player of their choice. So it may not be anybody that played in that qualifier. It may be a classmate, somebody that they want to golf with, as long as they also don't have a handicap that exceeds 4.0.
Wow. How cool is that? Like I said,
oh, it's awesome.
I love this event, and I love the things that you're doing, which leads us to Rock the Block, which is on Sunday, July 10th.
Yes, so we have Rock the Block in downtown Midland. We're in a partnership with the DDA there, and so that is from 5 to 8. We will be bringing entertainment, music. We will also have 4 or 5 players that will be there, have a little bit of a panel discussion, and then the players will get out on the putting greens with the community and sign autographs. We're bringing in food trucks to help with the crowd and making sure everybody has ample food to eat, but it's really a way to kick off the GLBI.
Now, when the pros show up, what's the first thing that they say if they've not played this before, right? So you've got 72 teams. Obviously, players are showing up that probably have not been in it at some point. If it's their first time, what are you hearing them say?
Well, one is they love having a team event because that's completely different for them. And so for them, they really get to partner with somebody that they get along with. And we really try to make the week fun for them. One is we spoil the living daylights out of them. I mean, we make sure we do their laundry. We bring in, baristas into MCC. We have worked with Greater Midland so they have access to that entire facility for workout if they want. That is something that they really feel like the community opens their arms and, spoils them for the week, which they deserve. They work hard and they play hard.
There's a couple other amazing things I want to hit in the time that we have today. And the first is the STEM Center. Can you tell me about that?
Yep. So in 2019, we had a STEM, and it was in the ballroom of the country club. This year, we're putting it out on course, and Kelly Services and Palmer Holland and a few others are sponsoring a couple of our suites. So Palmer Holland is the sponsor of the STEM. We have about 10 things within that STEM center that we're doing. We've got FIRST Robotics. We have a binary product that we're doing. It can take about 100 kids at a time. We are working with a lot of the local clubs and camps within the Great Lakes Bay region and offering transportation and busing the kids in on site. So we're really thrilled to be able to have the STEM center this year. And we're hoping for a lot of foot traffic. We also have the Wanners Created bus that is a new tour that it works with manufacturing and a lot of the manufacturing industry and really kind of educating kids on what it's like to be in that field. And so they're also coming on course, and we're thrilled about that, as well as a general store. We haven't ever had a general store, so we've got that for children as well. So really trying to make this as much about families and kids as we possibly can.
Now, Wendy, I believe I asked you this question in 2019, but I'm going to ask it to you again because I think it's important to note. When we get to July 17th, do you take a break or do you get right back into doing 2020? Like, what's the cycle for you?
Yeah, so it's year round. So we really focus on, what went well, what can we improve, what we hear from our sponsors. We couldn't do this without our sponsors, our volunteers, and, every year we want to grow. We want, this tournament to continue to have an impact and to continue to grow within the region.
Well, and I figured as much because, the amount that it iterates and evolves and changes year in and year out, this is not something that I joke, but it's probably true. This is something that could not do that if it didn't start again on July 17th and keep going.
You're 100% correct with that.
Now, you mentioned the sponsors and you mentioned Kelly Services earlier, and I want to make sure we shout out to them because they are sponsoring the Veterans Hospitality Suite. Is that correct?
They are. It just amazes me. It's my number one call I get, and my number one inquiry is from these vets. And so we last year moved their vet tent up onto the 11th tee. It's elevated so they get a good view of play. They get in for free as long as they have their credentials, and then they can bring a guest as well. And so this year, with the help of Kelly Services, we are having a pancake breakfast with them on Wednesday after the opening ceremony. We are bringing in Renee Powell, who is a retired LPGA player who works with vets. So she'll go have breakfast with them and mingle with them. On Thursday, we're doing a happy hour from 4 to 6, Friday, a chicken dinner, and on Saturday, dessert bar. So besides their standard hot dog and burger, we're trying to also elevate their food and beverage. And we're bringing in extra volunteers too with the help of Dow's VetNet. so that if they have a hard time getting around, that we make it easier for them, that either we will take them where they need to go, or if somebody needs to make a food run for them, that they can sit up in that suite and they can enjoy themselves.
Now, you mentioned the V word, volunteers. Are you still in need? And if people are interested, how do they contact to be a volunteer?
Yep. So we still have about 100
you're,
volunteers
you're like,
needed.
yep, sure do need human beings. Where can I get them?
well, we have over 28 different volunteer opportunities. And like it said, it takes a village. We couldn't do this without our volunteers. And so they can go to the website, dowglbi.com. You'll see where it says volunteer, click on that, and it will give you all the information and what is still needed.
Now, the last one that we, of course, have to shout out because probably wouldn't be possible without them. It is Dow's 125th anniversary, right? That we're doing a celebration. Can you talk about that? Because obviously we want to shout out about that.
No, I mean we're very lucky to not only have Dow as a title sponsor, but this year they're celebrating their 125th anniversary, and their theme is Imagine Better. And so on Wednesday of tournament week, anybody is entitled to get into the tournament for free that day. And the first 5,000 people will receive a food voucher for somewhere on course, and also a tournament visor. And so Dow will have a booth up by the welcome tent, which will have a little bit of history of those 125 years, some interactive displays that people will have a lot of fun with. So we're very excited to be able to offer that this year for the tournament.
And like Wendy said, the website is dowglbi.com. Wendy Traschen, it is always a pleasure to spend a couple minutes with you. I will let you get back to planning, and I cannot wait to see you around July 10th, my friend.
Thank you so much for having me.